Hi, my name's Liz from BooksGoSocial, and I'm joined here today by Darren Darker, who's an Irish author. And I'm going to do a short interview with Darren to ask him about his writing and his book Redemption.
Hi, everybody.
So, Darren, I was going to ask you first, how did you get into writing?
I suppose, like most authors, I got into writing through reading. You know, from a young age, I was always encouraged to read, and I love reading. It was always a great escapism. And you know, as I grew older, I felt that this is something I could do myself, and I could put my own stories there, and I could bring my own characters to life, and just be out, bring that escapism to other people, but in a constructive kind of way. And I just wanted to make it interesting, and I wanted the characters to be Irish and semi-normal.
Okay. So you did a lot of reading growing up, and you felt it was something that you wanted to take on and put your own kind of stamp into.
Yeah, in later in life, I just always kept reading. But I read, I've read some poor quality books in my time, or books that I maybe didn't appreciate or didn't click with. And I was reading them, and I would put them down halfway through. And go, I could do better than that. How did that ever get published? And I'd be whinging. But I always said to myself, well, don't just say you can do better than that. Try. Yeah. Or pour it off the pot kind of thing. Eventually, I kind of did that, and that's where I am.
Right. So I guess that kind of maybe leads into how you got into writing your book now, Redemption, because you said that you liked the idea of having Irish characters. Yeah. And John Morgan is an Irish character, and it's set in Ireland. Yeah. So what was the inspiration for Redemption?
When I was growing up, my uncle had a mobile home park down in Wicklow, and it was actually owned by an ex-Luftwaffe pilot.
Wow,
so
okay.
I met him when I was younger. I was a child, and he was a lovely man who played very stern at times, but he wasn't. He was a very lovable character, We did that kind of mess with the kids a bit. And so I grew up down. We had a lot of war stories in our family, because I have war brides. There's war brides in my family, and we had family fight in the Second World War. So it was always the war was always a big thing in our family. So I knew it had to kind of stem from there, And my character John Morgan, I wanted him to be a pretty normal, average enough type of guy. He wasn't ex-SAS or ex-Special Forces or anything really. He was just a normal guy with a defined sense of right and wrong, who finds himself in these predicaments, but because of his innate will to help people or trying to do the right thing, he reluctantly volunteers at times. And this is a series, this is a thing throughout all the books, and there is more John Morgan books coming. So that's where he came from. He he's a reluctant hero.
A reluctant hero. Yeah. So that's actually, you say there that your family history is tied into World War II, which is actually very unusual for Irish families. It's a bit kind of against the usual.
Well, that's not quite true, because a lot of, I think over 50,000 Irish men joined the British Army to fight the Second World War, because they felt that they weren't necessarily joining the British Army, they were fighting fascism, and that's what they went to. I had family as well in the First World War who joined the British Army as well, but they joined it for economic means. In other words, they needed 3 meals a day. Yeah. There was no money. They needed 3 meals a day, so they joined the British Army for that. But later on, they did join the British Army, and they fought in the war for moral reasons.
Yeah, interesting. So obviously, there's a lot going on there for your background that you drew from. Yeah. And when did you finally get down to sit down to write this?
A few years ago now. There was a couple of different earlier versions which were poor and half thought out, but with work and everything else in life that just draws on your time, it did take a while to get there. And I just sat down one day and started writing. It wasn't that I had any form of background or training, or for that matter went and joined any writing classes or writing groups, which I probably should have. And I didn't, but I did that. So it was a slower process than it possibly should have been or could have been. But look, I got there in the end. I'm far better now than I was when I was starting. You know, I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
You know, everything might not be absolutely perfect, but I am genuinely proud of it, and I'm proud of the character. And when the next couple of books come out, you'll see, if you follow him, it's not just the stories, but it's also the development of John Morgan, how he, you know, his life cycle within the books as well, how he's changing from in the first book he's heartbroken, he's mentally broken down, he's trying to recover from, he's suffering a strong sense of loss, how he kind of builds himself back up, and he retreats to the country to kind of not find himself, but just to take time out for himself. And by the series I have planned, you know, where I'm taking a break on the series in the book 4, he's going to come full circle. He's going to come back to Dublin. He's going to get back to his own self.
Okay.
And that's it, you know.
All right. So John Morgan's obviously the central character in all your novels.
Yes.
Is it just that he's someone who got under your skin and you feel like you can't let him go, or why is it that you decide to go with him?
It's very much so. I just think that he's an honest person. He's an honest character. You know, he makes mistakes. He has flaws. He gets into situations that he can't get out of. In the books I'm writing now, the follow-on books, like there's one, there's an awful lot of tension in it, and he vomits with the tension. You know, he's not a superhero. He's not, you know, nothing doesn't faze him. He is fazed. He is shook. He is scared. He's doing it, but he still he feels he has to go on. You know, and that's what I like about him. You know, and he's human and he has flaws, and you know, and he's suffering at the start, and I actually suffer from depression. And so I kind of put some of that in, and how he's building himself back up and going through that and working through that. Not so much that he has depression, but his guilt from the death of a fiancée. So, you know, there's a bit, I try to put a bit of me into it, but it's really just, he's just an honest person.
Okay. So you enjoy writing the character, really?
I do, yeah.
Okay. So we know now that there's 3 more books coming.
Yeah.
How do you feel you're going to get the time to write that? Do you put time aside? How does it work for you?
Yes, I try and I mostly work at night. You know, I run my own business, so anybody who runs their own business knows it's always time is your biggest problem and your biggest asset as well. So I generally work at night. I only get able to get to sit down maybe 10 o'clock at night, and I try to write between 500 and 1,000 words a night.
Oh, okay.
And I do that about 4 nights a week, and then just life gets into the way for the other days. And I just keep going like that until I kind of get there.
Yeah.
You know?
And would you have anything in particular to help you when you sit down to write, or is it just like, this is the time I have to sit down?
No, I would. I'd have a kind of very rough plan in my head, and you know, unfortunately, I try to write on a kind of a straight line idea, like point A to point Z, and hitting everywhere along the line. It doesn't work for me like that. I can't. My brain is too jumbled up at times, so I kind of jump backwards and forwards. I want to write that scene. I love that scene. That's going to be a great scene. I'll write that. Then I write this scene. Then I write that scene, and then I've got to kind of join some dots, you know, along the way. But I kind of like that. Now, with Redemption, there was historical chapters. So what I did was I wrote the historical chapters as a block. Yeah. And then there was the newer chapters all just came from there afterwards. Okay. And so there's some stuff I would write it maybe as a block because I'm in that frame of mind. I'm kind of research. Like there is a good bit of research in Redemption about Ireland during the emergency and how we responded in our own very quirky Irish way. We had an internment camp for all foreign soldiers, Allied and German, but they were allowed to leave. If they promised to come back, they were allowed to leave, which is very Irish. And they all got paid. And so it was quite a very unique kind of situation. Yeah.
So it sounds like at the moment you kind of squish in the writing when you can in the evenings and really do try and make a good plan to get in there. Would you have any specific tips for other indie authors at the moment?
Really just keep writing. Just keep trying, keep practicing, and keep reading. If you haven't got, I think it was Stephen King who said, if you haven't got time to read, you haven't got time to write. Because reading would improve. You'll learn how to maybe put together a chapter, how to put together a paragraph, and how a book maybe should flow. But certainly just write. It can be awful stuff, but you can edit it later. You can't edit nothing. So get down and write and keep at it. And then start showing stuff to friends who will be honest with you. There is no point giving any material to a friend who's going to say, oh, this is wonderful, it's brilliant, it's great, it's the best thing, Booker Prize material, you know, without even having read it. You want somebody who's you want constructive criticism and accept constructive criticism. Or somebody who says, I like it, but it needs this, it needs that. They're the people you want to talk to, because they're the people who, you know, are actually putting a bit of time into it, a bit of effort into it. Join a writers group if you can. Go along to book launches. You know, see, you know, who's doing what and where, and because that will help. Because I'm an independent writer. I have, and my next few books are going to be independent books. However, I still think that, you know, the kind of mecca for a writer is getting an agency, getting traditionally published, and that's the direction I'm going to go. Not probably with John Morgan novels. I'm going to leave them where they are, and they're going to be great. They're going to be successful. They're going to be wonderful. Buy them. But the next one, yes, I might try. I'm diverging away from John Morgan, not because he is. I'm finishing him. I'm not. But I'm kind of. I'm taking. When I finish the 4 books, I'm going to take a break from him and move on and challenge myself and try and write about other things that, you know, be outside my comfort zone or outside what I normally write. You know.
Yeah.
But right. That's
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So how do you find being an indie author?
It's challenging. It's you do an awful lot more work than just write the book. You know, writing the book is just, there's stages to the whole process. You get your idea, you sit down, you kind of work out roughly what you're going to do, then you start writing your book, and eventually, whatever time period after, you finish your book, right? That's when the work starts. When you're in the author, that's really when the work starts. Okay. The book is secondary nearly, or tertiary. You know, it's, you know, you're trying to you're trying to find somebody reputable like BooksGoSocial to help you put together things, put together a cover, put together a back blurb, which will help attract readers. And you know, a good blurb, a good cover and a good blurb will get you that first book sale. The contents of the book, there is a storyline, will get you your next book sale, but certainly get people off the starting line. You need somebody like that. You need somebody professional and who'll give you, you know, professional guidance and help. And once again, accept constructive criticism. And you've got to work though. You've got to do social media. You've got to do, you know, get your friends involved and maybe try and go to a few book clubs. I'm going to after here this afternoon, I'm actually going to a book club, a writers group, and having a chat with them and having a talk with them. And I love talking about writing. It's not my daytime job, but hopefully it will be. But it's I love talking about it because it's really interesting and it kind of, I loved it having created something, you know, and that's what it is. It's creating something, you know. But yeah, that's it. It's just there's an awful lot of work to it that beyond the writing of the book. But you've got to think long term. You've got to think, right, should I do one, am I doing this one book? Is this a standalone book? Am I going to do something else? Is this a series? A lot of that has questions about where you go on from there at that point. Great.
Okay, so I'll wrap it up there for now. Thank you so much for coming in. Do you want to tell people where to find you on social media?
It's Darren Darker, Darker, D-A-R-K-E-R. I'm not very bright, I know. I'm on Facebook and Twitter. Just search me. Darren Darker Author is the Facebook page, and you'll see updates and things like that. And if there's any questions, please just message me, and I'd be delighted to talk to you again. And best of luck with your own writing. And I hope you like John Morgan. Thank you.
Thanks very much.